Guys, it's Logan here, bringing you another deck profile on one of my Magic commanders that I had a lot of fun with. This is the second deck that I've ever built, and he's just a lot of fun if you like to burn your opponents out and stop them from gaining life. This Neheb the Eternal is a really good commander. This is an expensive build, but it doesn't have to be this expensive. I'll show you something that you can do later on. But let's go over Neheb's effect. He has Afflict 3, so whenever somebody blocks him, they're going to take 3 damage no matter what, or lose 3 life. So his second effect will come into play when at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, add red to your mana pool for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. So you play a lot of burn spells during your first main phase to burn out your opponents, and then during your second main phase you get that much red mana and you can dump it all into like an earthquake or a rolling earthquake or something that like damages the whole board, and you can remove creatures that way too. So the first card we'll go over is Acidic Soil. They take 1 damage for each land he or she controls. So if someone has a lot of lands and they're ramping, they're going to get punished for it. Marauders doubles the damage that from sources you control. Apex of Power, exile the top 7 cards of your deck, get 10 red mana. It costs a lot, but trust me, if you play a lot of burn spells, you're going to get over 10 mana very easily, especially if you have 3 opponents. Blasphemous Act is just a good board wipe for the red decks. Bonus round, there's a lot of copy spells in this to copy your burn spells, so bonus round will help you copy your instant and sorceries. Chaos Warp's good removal, especially if there's an annoying enchantment. Since you're mono red, there's not much you can do about enchantments, so this is a good way to get rid of them. Commander Sphere is a good rock. Cryptoflagrant is really good because it taps for red and it burns everybody for 1 at the table, so that's 3 mana you get automatically just by tapping this thing. Darksteel Plate protects your commander. Dictate doubles the damage. Double Vision, whenever you cast your first instant sorcery, it copies. Like I said, there's a lot of copy spells. Here's another one, double cast. Dragon Mage lets you wheel your hand away and get more burn spells. So you're playing 11 Dragons Approaches. So you're not actually playing it to get there are dragons in this deck you can get for the second effect of it, but you're playing it just for that 3 damage effect, because you get 3, 6, 9. If you have 3 opponents, that's 9 mana for 3 mana, so you're net gain 6 mana. Here's one of your good dragons that just burns the table. This card I'm going to take out. I'm actually going to probably put in another Dragon's Approach for it, but whenever you cast your next instant sorcery spell with mana 4 or less, copy it. Usually you want to play your X spells and copy them. It's still a good card, but I might take it out. Dualcaster Mage, just flash it in and copy stuff. It might even be useful to copy someone's ramp so you can ramp too. Earthquake is one of those burn spells. You dump all the mana into X, and hopefully if you have more life than your opponents, then you can just win. Like if you have 40 life and they have 39 and X is 39, you just win the game. You can tie the game with this deck too, so if you're not going to win, just might as well tie it. Faceless Looting lets you draw cards. Fault Line is another X spell that does damage. It's like an Earthquake. This is really good. Usually you want to do 2 damage to each opponent, and you choose that 3 times, 2, 4, 6. That's 6, 12, 18 mana during your second main for 4 mana. Fire Diamond's a nice rock. Fork, copy something. I think I've missed one. Oh yeah, Fire Servant doubles the damage from your red instant and sorcery spells. Furnace of Wrath just doubles damage. Gamble lets you search for a card and you discard 1 at random, which is sometimes you discard the card that you search for, but who cares? You can usually search for an X spell and win the game off of this. Heartless halves everybody's life total. So if you tap him and everyone's life gets halved, let's say everybody's still at 40 for some reason, 20, 40, you just got 60 mana off of just tapping this guy. Horizon Stone's a crew fix. Basically all your mana won't filter out, so you can keep all that mana. Increasing Vengeance lets you copy a spell. This you can pump 20 in mana into this spell really easily and then do 20 damage to somebody really easy. Insult doubles the damage you do. This one is another X spell that just burns out the table, plus it doesn't burn you in the process, so you can take out 3 people even if your life total is lower. This one lets you add a bunch of mana to your mana pool, or you can exile the top 3 cards of your library and play them. This is another wheel card. Leyline Tyrant's another one of those cards that makes red mana not filter out when you move through phases. and it does a lot of damage if it dies and you have a lot of red mana in your mana pool. Leyline of Punishment prevents people from gaining life. You just don't want life gain in this deck because, against this deck I mean, because that's how you lose if people gain a lot of life, so you want to burn them out as quickly as you possibly can. Magus is another wheel card. Mana Barbs, whenever someone taps a land, they take a damage. Mind Stone, sack it. Usually I play it to sack it to draw a card because you need to get more cards, especially if you're short on land, but it is also a good rock. It's an ultimate disaster, it can't be countered if you kick it, and you can do X damage to targets. Pyromania, dump all that red mana, 1 damage to each creature and each player. This one is a mana rock that taps for red, and it also lets you copy an instant or sorcery that you use to cast with that red mana. Players can't gain life, that's mostly why you play it, but whenever a creature enters, they also take a damage. So token decks hate this card. This one lets you copy the next spell you cast twice. Copy spell. Players can't gain life, and you can do a damage to each of the table. Rolling Earthquake. This one is really good because it can kill flyers. So it's an Earthquake that can kill flyers. Ruby Medallion makes your red spells cost 1 less. Seething Song adds 5. So if you have 3 red mana, you can get Neheb out turn 3. Or if you open up with a Soul Ring in this, you can go on turn 2, you can just summon Neheb. Really good. Soul Ring goes in a majority of commander decks. Solemn, just get a land out of your deck. He dies, you draw a card. This card's really cool. You can target all the creatures on the board and each of your opponents and flip a card up off the top of your deck, burn them for the mana cost, and you can play those cards until end of turn. You'll get the mana, don't worry, you'll get the mana to cast this. This is one of my favorite cards actually, like ever. I put it in a lot of my red decks. So yeah, during your upkeep, you take 2 damage. Each player's upkeep, they take 2 damage, and players can't gain life. I just love this card. I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite cards. Sunbird's Invocation, you play a big X spell. The mana cost of that X spell in the stack will count as the mana value that you put into X, so you can get a lot of good stuff off of Sunbirds. Thran Dynamo, just another good rock. Tybalt, just another way that your opponents can't gain life. His neg is okay, but you just don't want people to gain life. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you can exile the top card of your library, play that card for as long as it remains exiled. And it just does damage to opponents too. Vandal Blast is just really good to get rid of all your opponent's artifacts. You just put 5 mana into it, which is nothing in this deck, and blow up all their mana rocks and put them behind. So yeah, this is one of my, like I said, it's one of my favorite decks. It's the second deck I've ever built. I built Edgar Markov as one of my first decks, but this was one of the first decks that I've took on my own to build, and I've updated it a lot throughout the years, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Thanks for watching.